And Yanam Yadofo, Alpha 1G, General First Amabanswa, any dino book coin so no I did not subscribe ya my Yankupon show BBS waba Alpha 1G. Na ene in sema kwa today ya dear good news pa edema John Dramani Mama. See him say ye train all the 16 regions across Ghana no I just say 4 and but 4 out of 16 regions no I say 12 regions I train na any him say 276 constituencies na and ewo Ghana man no na 123 constituencies na ene whole result number just say if Mensa wa joy Friday a project and a babe can wansem now right now no and NDC lead with a parliamentary no lead with 100 seats and a MP Manukonso ekuta 223 seats. I saw come 123. Now out of 276 no I just 123 constituency number no GM LED with 3.0 million votes. I don't know represented 55.86% and about me also LED with 2.3 million votes. I know and also representing 42.54%. And when a year satisfy and answer satisfy a year become result now but to say if we Mensa Kachama a year joy Friday a pusti and then right now I say news about Bituja now right now and I say Beka a year miracle budget and you return here about or more sending on music reaction and chese or more up by ye pana near my question the among say and because one custom leader abeja to me say Mahama every evening inti my this year can John Mahama is the president elect coming and grace and news nearby near the commercial at
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has conceded defeat, which means that John Dramani Mahama is the president-elect of Ghana. It means that for the first time in our history we have a female vice president incumbent. Now, let's also take a minute to acknowledge that even though the concession has happened, the process by which the results are to be officially declared is still underway. At the Electoral Commission, they are still waiting for faxes to come through from 16 regions, after which they will be able to declare officially who has won these elections. But of course, collation goes on unabated, and currently we can tell you that we do have access to data from 123 constituencies out of the 276. Now, out of the 123, Joy News can confirm that 100 of them have been won by the NDC, 23 of them by the NPP. We'll give you more details as
giving somebody 2-term, I mean the second term in Parliament. Okay. Benjamin Ayiku, we are learning, has actually maintained his position as the member of Parliament for Lejokuku constituency. Okay. Bernard Okoboy, all of them, Benjamin and Bernard, could not flip the seat back from green to blue.
But let me touch on something you said there, that they don't give someone the opportunity to go consecutive.
Not at all.
So are you saying that the MPP to MPP was the two different candidates here?
Well, I mean, I know Lejokuku to be a constituency that gives you just one term. I do not know why we have, that. I mean, but it's one of the constituencies that will just give you, one term in terms of the parliamentary. Okay. Exactly. This is
okay. So this is 2008, right?
Yeah, 2008.
Gladys and Ashite, no, but Nino Tedia won it. So let's go back to say 2012,
right?
2004. Who won it? Ashite won it for the MPP.
Ashite won it,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do.
That is Noli Ashite. Yes, Noli Ashite was for.
But it's 2004.
It's 2004.
They won it in 2000. So let's see who won it. Okay.
2000 was a different person.
A different person.
Yeah.
Okay. So your point about maybe an individual winning it back to back.
The only person I know, I think someone 96 or so, was Ajayboy. Ajayboy was the only candidate of the NDC who was given a second term in Lejokuku constituency. And so meaning maintaining Benjamin Ayiku means that, that means, Lejokuku. No, the reason why maybe you're not getting it is that we used to have Lejokuku Krowo.
Okay. And it was separated.
Okay. Exactly. I think somewhere 2012 or so. Okay. I'm not so sure. But you had the Krowa side being the Nungwa and Lejokuku being Teshi proper. Okay. And so it's an interesting place. The reason why it's an interesting place is that it used to be one of those bellwether constituencies where they will vote for the the winning party. Now, talking about bellwether, you and I were analyzing one constituency in the Western region. And when it comes to the Western region, you are an expert. And that constituency is, Shama.
Yeah.
I want us to go to Shama and possibly
let's go to Shama.
Analyze it. I mean, at the parliamentary level, definitely they have decided to vote MPP. Let's look at the trend. Shama, what you have on your screen shows that this is one of the constituencies that has never voted skirt and blouse. Never voted skirt and blouse. If they give you parliamentary, they will give you presidential. And what we know is that if you want to see how Ghana or the national picture will look like,
NDC won it. Shama won it. They won it in Shama.
Exactly.
In 2000, John, they won Shama. In 2024, we know that Emilia Arthur has won Shama for the NDC. And the NDC has indeed won the national election.
Exactly.
So as you say, if you want to win Ghana, Shama.
If you want to break the 8, you have to break Shama first. And unlike Lejokuku, that is king of skirt and blouse. When it comes to skirt and blouse, Lejokuku is one of those constituencies that will always give you skirt and blouse. But they showed us something. The constituency showed something different starting 2020 and this year. They have decided to vote green on both presidential and parliamentary. It started in 2020. We've seen the same, pan out in the 2024 election.
All right. Okay. Interesting. There are so many interesting things we need to look at when it comes to parliamentary, who and who are falling and who are coming back. But we need to go to studio 997 now because Kojo Nyankson is standing by with the man who knows a lot when it comes to security matters in this country and beyond. Professor Kesi there joining Kojo Nyankson in studio 995. So Kojo, set some car, go for Sinana. And
I've got to say, I'm sure you've noticed what we seem to be doing here. When there's an MFI in the Joy News studio, there's an MFI in the studio 997, and now we're doing it with the Kujus, but with good reason. Thank you so much for that analysis. That was some fascinating stuff, giving us a bit of the background to the numbers. And by the way, if you're just joining us, here's the reality. We go on, but you can see these statistics.
For another outcome, is the technology way too old-fashioned? Are the officers around the polling stations, constituency collation centers, regional collation centers very slow in getting things done? I think it's negative to all the questions I'm asked. Because if the political parties themselves have been able to get a fair idea of the trends, and Kodio was able to tell us the percentage police stations that opened late, they don't have enough materials, the BVs were not working well, then the EC itself has very little cause not to have an overview of what is happening where. Prior to this election, one of the things that became quickly clear was that polling station results and the subsequent pink sheets were going to play a very key role in the declaration of the results, but also the sanctity of the whole process. When His Excellency the President, jokingly said with that smile or the giggle that he has, that I cannot hand over to somebody I've beaten twice. And Mr. Mahama retorted, well, it will be one at the polling stations, and I am not going to the Supreme Court. It became clear that the battle would be where the voting took place. As the Ashantis would say, this is a phrase I like very much, Akroma. So every single party, and yesterday I visited probably about 30 or so polling stations. The party guys were behind the EC people, watching keenly. I wasn't there for any of the counting, but because the EC expanded the number of polling stations, so there was an average of between 400 and 700 or 800 thereabouts.
Yeah.
Meaning,
Per
station. Meaning that on average, without any hula baloo, even in darkness, by around 8:30, 9 p.m.-ish, most polling stations had finished what they were doing and signed off on the pink sheets. My colleagues who went out to observe were able, from around 7:30 thereon, place photocopies or pictures of the signed pink sheets on our platform. So my assessment is that those pink sheets would have been photographed from individual polling stations, sent to the Constituency Collations Center. They may have printed them or whatever, done some tallying, sent them on to the regional collation centers of the parties, and then onward to Accra. So that on or around 10 p.m., 11 p.m.-ish, the parties had a fair idea, after they had crunched the numbers, the direction of travel. And you could see that from the body language, first of Sami Jemfi, who was very confident, calm, a couple of verbal vibes here and there, or jabs. And then the MPP team came. Miracles was hopping and dancing, looked more like a praying mantis on hot coals. Ahiagbe, is that his name?
Who?
The Ahiagbe.
Ahiagba.
Ahiagba. Yeah.
Yes.
For the first time, looked very sober and very humble. And the lady who joined them, who had a very amused look on her face. So 3 people seeking to say that they were in the comfortable lead from individual polling stations, sent to the Constituency Collation Center. They may have printed them or whatever, done some tallying, sent them on to the regional collation centers of the parties, and then onward to Accra. So that on or around 10 p.m., 11 p.m.-ish, the parties had a fair idea, after they had crunched the numbers, the direction of travel. And you could see that from the body language, first of Sami Jemfi, who was very confident, calm, a couple of verbal vibes here and there, or jabs. And then the MPP team came. Miracles was hopping and dancing, looked more like a praying mantis on hot coals. Ahiagbe, is that his name?
Who?
The Ahiagbe.
Ahiagba.
Ahiagba. Yeah.
Yes.
For the first time, looked very sober and very humble. And the lady who joined them, who had a very amused look on her face. So 3 people seeking to say that they were in the comfortable lead, but whose body language portrayed something else. Ahiagba had given up. Miracles was fighting hard to show some hope, but it was obvious from his body language that he had given up. The lady gave us a fair indication that, well, she had accepted the obvious.
And this was all before midnight.
All before midnight. All before I left here around 9:45. 10.
abusuafo na tifo ni atisa news yi amia wakoti ama yan den hwan aho atoyi yi pa because out of the 276 constituencies no emu 123 number as you see no and represent I think say 4 regions just say right now no satisfying result about say in December no out of 276 constituencies no 123 number no parliamentary no dia in December no efa 100 seats and MPP amanyuko so far 23 seats as right now no out of the 276 as 123 number no the presidential na AGM LED with a 3.0 million vote I know represent 55.86% and a Bawumia so LED with 2.3 million votes I also represent 42.4% as an arbededi. Now right now no yebeka a year be wiem one opemono and a AG a year beka Bawumia a babonting a bear some press conference be a can say or consider a defeated a year John Dramani Mahama ama John Mahama so can say or also any brother na shini and them say be a wakon a yakasaka say be we will work as a team akasaka say be any in them to we who idea be will be timidi ambuame na yetimidi ayede a rule on mine na first in Ghana history and I beka the certain president no babo ntime can say over his dead body so bema a year or no obi we defeating that eba ben successor inti yenim say over his dead body no kind yenim the or like obey on one kasa body dey so right now one kasa nipa kwa wo prama so be successor no Papa ntia beka say enya de wide we wini e ade John Mahama na ide president elect just some information abetoja the kaisa press conference ahodo just beka sami jemfimo ye eni nkofo bi ti say sidin ketia challenge no eye na o hwom dimina ni ade o hwom vimom de kasa as compared to a beka Justin Kofi GFK no o hwese no sikasa as wa bre as ono ankasa ngas wo lose hope ni ade yin yan sa videos no which are here about press conference yebeka miracle abuaje say no no see we by right now why they for calm down wa brain ho asa no I just say information ya equatify papa you wan na asem talk we can say me bit my day a share adwen or comment bit him so a share am down for so I dey enye bi a hwe higher for anji chakam na